You've probably heard that you need to strengthen your core after you have your baby, but what does that really mean? And how do you find the time or the energy when you're juggling little ones, healing, and trying to feel like yourself again? In today's episode, I'm joined by Dr. Jena Bradley, a mom of four and physical therapist who has helped thousands of women rebuild their core, regain confidence, and create sustainable fitness routines that actually work in real mom life. If you're wondering where to start, what to do about that mom pooch, or how to exercise safely after birth, even after a C-section, this conversation is packed with practical tips and encouragement you do not want to miss. Feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and like you've lost yourself in the postpartum chaos, struggling to rebuild your strength, heal your core, and feel confident in your body again? Hey mama, I'm Val, a functional sports dietitian, postpartum fitness coach, and a mama who understands exactly what you're going through. Welcome to the Strong and Nourished Mama podcast, where I help busy moms like you regain your energy, rebuild strength, and feel amazing through simple, science-backed nutrition and fitness strategies. If you're ready to go from depleted to strong, nourished, and unstoppable, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. I am so excited about the interview I'm going to be sharing with you today because we dive into deep conversation about postpartum fitness, core healing, and how to make it all doable in real life because we know mom life is so busy. My guest today is Dr. Jena Bradley. She is a physical therapist, mom of four, and founder of Live Core Strong, an online platform dedicated to helping moms strengthen their core, heal after birth, and feel confident in their bodies again. Jena knows what it's like to navigate the chaos of motherhood while trying to care for your own health, and she brings a wealth of experience, empathy, and super actionable tips to this conversation. She's also the host of the Fit Postpartum Mom podcast. Check it out. All of the links that she's going to be talking about today are going to be in the show notes. Today, we talk about when and how to safely return to fitness postpartum, what moms really need to know about core strength, C-section recovery and scar tissue, how to find time for movement when life feels so full and so busy, and why it's never too late to start healing and rebuilding your strength. Quick note before we dive in, you are going to hear me mention the Start Strong Challenge. This is a challenge that I ran at the beginning of this year in January. And so if you are curious about that or want to catch up on those episodes, be sure to listen to episodes 12, 14, 16, and 18. And this is where we talk about habits and really how to start strong with any habit or behavior that you're wanting to incorporate in your daily life. And if you would like the free workbook and resources that went along with the challenge, you can still grab them at wellnessbyval.com/startstrong. Enjoy today's show. Hi, Jena. How are you? Thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I think what we're going to be talking about today is going to be perfect for the postpartum moms that listen into the show. So I'm super excited. Before we dive in, I do want to start with some introductions. So if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how your journey as a physical therapist and mom of four led you to create Live Core Strong.
Yeah, well, I am from the Pittsburgh area. I met my husband here at the University of Pittsburgh, where we were in physical therapy school together. So both of us are physical therapists, and we have a big passion for health and fitness. We have four daughters. And through my postpartum journey, all those journeys that I went through, my last one led me into creating my blog, Live Core Strong, because I was getting so many questions from so many people, whether they're friends or acquaintances or strangers, where they would see me walking around town with my four littles and ask me, how did I lose the baby weight? And to me, this was just part of my lifestyle, that I wanted to live a healthy lifestyle as a mom. But then I realized how many women were struggling to lose the baby weight or strengthen their core, and they didn't have any advice, they didn't have any guidance. And I realized that this was a major problem. And then I realized no one really taught me. I just did it myself through what I've learned through physical therapy school, but also just on my own. It was a lot of trial and error. And so I realized, I want to help these women. And I created the blog to help women learn how to strengthen their core and how to live a fit lifestyle as a postpartum mom. And that led me to my podcast, the Fit Postpartum Mom podcast, a YouTube channel, a whole bunch of other things, a book, a course, and really this whole business of helping postpartum moms live a core strong lifestyle.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I think you're right. There's not enough information with anything related to pregnancy and postpartum, but especially how we can care for mom postpartum. There's a lot of information out there about how can we care for baby and what can we do for baby as baby gets older. And unfortunately, we don't have anything for mom, right? Like, how do you recover from being pregnant for 9 to 10 months? How do you recover from labor and kind of get into the fitness and back into exercise? So I think that's awesome. And I love your podcast. I've listened to your podcast. I think it's amazing. And you said you have your own online business, you're a physical therapist. How do you balance and stay organized with all of these things in your life as a busy mom?
I would say my second superpower besides being a physical therapist is schedules and routines. I absolutely love planning and having a planner. I don't know if you know Chelsea Joe more, but I follow her with Systemize Your Life. But before finding her, I've always been into schedules and routines. So I have always taught my children to sleep on a sleep schedule, and I work in between the times when they're sleeping, or sorry, not between, but during the times that they're sleeping. And when they're awake, I'm with the kids. And my husband and I have a really good schedule where I can do physical therapy when he's home with the kids. So we've just really made it intentional to work, when it's our work hours, and be with our kids when we're with our kids, and just prioritize the important things in our life. And with the online business, with Live Core Strong and the Fit Postpartum Mom podcast, I do that on the side when my kids are sleeping. So it's been a big passion project for me to help other women with the struggles that they're having around fitness.
You have to have routines. You have to stay organized. And I've definitely heard of Kelsey Joe's information in her podcast, and I think it's super helpful. But I'm the same way. Like, ever since I had my little girl, the sleep schedule, the routines, we were pretty on it. And it's helpful. I love it. So let's dive into a little bit of postpartum fitness. For moms in the early postpartum phase, so it could even be, within the first 4 weeks, first 3 months of after having your baby, what's the biggest misconception around getting back into fitness?
Yeah, a lot of new moms think that they need to go back into doing the exercises that they were doing back in college. That is not the case. I'm going to tell everybody right now, do not do that. Do not do the exercises that you've known from the past. So a lot of moms are thinking, I need to spend 45 minutes, 60 minutes working out in the gym. And as a postpartum mom, getting to the gym might be unrealistic. Spending that amount of time is very unrealistic. And so the big thing is moms are struggling with time. That is one of the number one complaints I get from postpartum moms, that they need help with time management and finding time and staying consistent. So again, all of that revolves around routines and habits. So yeah, having a mindset around less time is still effective as a postpartum mom. Less time in your workout can still do wonders on your body as a postpartum mom.
I agree. We don't have to spend 60 minutes in the gym, because the time it takes to drive to the gym, sit in traffic, do your workout, come back, it's totally unrealistic. And that can actually deter moms from exercising at all. When can a new mom, after they have their baby, whether it's their first babe or their fourth babe, when can a mom start exercising after giving birth?
Yeah, so I am a big advocate for waiting for the 6 week postpartum checkup. There's a lot of different information out there. You'll see moms on Instagram working out within 2 weeks of having their baby. It is completely okay to wait the 6 weeks. Starting earlier than that is not going to make you or break you in terms of your fitness or losing the baby weight. 6 weeks is a great check mark where you get to see your doctor. Your doctor will check your body, make sure that there's nothing internally going wrong, making sure that your C-section scar is completely healed. And it also gives you sort of a break in your mindset of knowing I have 6 weeks to enjoy that newborn phase with my baby and work on breastfeeding, work on getting as much sleep as you possibly can. But if you're thinking in that first 6 weeks, I need to be working out and getting sleep and breastfeeding and cleaning the house, it's going to be really overwhelming. So I'm just going to just tell you right now, wait the 6 weeks and see your doctor first, and then you can start slow. And if you are past the 6 weeks right now, that's okay too. Anytime is a good time to start. So I just want to encourage you, after listening to this episode, just make today the day to get started with postpartum fitness, even if it's just a short period of time.
I think that's very helpful because especially with social media, like you said, we see moms going back and they're lifting already and they're doing all these things, and then we're starting to feel like a failure and like I have to compare myself to this mom and I should be doing that. And maybe a mom does do that and then they end up hurting themselves because having a baby, whether it was a smooth sailing labor, birth, or maybe there were some issues or it was a long labor, it's exhausting and it's so hard on the body. And the body is amazing, first of all, to be able to go through that and recover very quickly. Even if you are a year postpartum, I would imagine, right, that if it's a good time to still get back into your fitness, right? It's never too
Oh,
late.
yeah. I have a client right now that is 5 years postpartum, and she's not ashamed to say it. And she is completely recovering back from the way she used to be before getting pregnant. It doesn't matter when you start, you can still see the results. You can still lose the baby weight. You can get stronger. Starting a year postpartum, just do it.
I love that. Now you mentioned recovering from C-section. How is that different when you're working with your clients? If a woman did have a C-section, whether it was their first time or, third time, how are you working with them to be able to recover and heal from that?
Yeah, so I actually do treat them very similarly, but I'm guiding and observing them a little bit closer. So they are doing gentle core exercises like I would teach any postpartum mom, but with them, I am very cognizant of their pain if they feel like they're having any more pressure or discomfort. So it's more of an evaluation process and a monitoring process to see how they're doing with their recovery. Also, they definitely need to be cleared from their doctor to make sure that they're healed, that their incision is healed. So there's just some checkpoints along the way. But in terms of the exercises, they're pretty standard based off of my program that I have.
That's awesome. I love that. And for both, right, no matter how you're having your baby, whether it's C-section or vaginally, core strength postpartum, during, of course, but especially postpartum is a big focus of your work. So why is it important for postpartum moms when it comes to core strength and probably related to their pelvic floor as well? Why do they need to focus on that?
Yeah, so I would say it starts with the confidence factor, to be honest. More moms might complain about the way they feel, the way they look, and how their confidence is. So that's how it all starts, is how are you feeling on the outside? Even though people might not want to say that, but that really is genuinely the reason why moms want to work on their core, is that they just want to feel good in their clothes again. They want to feel good going out again. But then also there's a group of moms that really genuinely want to strengthen their core because they feel like mush. They feel like they're not strong enough to carry their baby. They are struggling to carry the car seat or even the laundry basket up the stairs. So they can tell in their everyday lifestyle that things are just not easy anymore. And they do attribute it to the core. And I do too. The core is the foundation to everything. So if you have a weak core, you won't be able to go up and down the steps as easily as you did before, even though we might think it's our leg strength, but really that core holds everything together. And so with the pregnancy and the 9 months of stretching out our muscles, our core is not in the right place anymore. Even though, it just looks like a big ball of mush, our muscles are not aligned, they're stretched out, and we need to put them in the right place so that they can work properly and function properly. So it is sort of my duty as a physical therapist to get things back to normal, to fix it, to align it again, and for it to work well. And also, we need to prevent any kind of future injuries that could occur. So with that weak core that we all have after having a baby, we're more prone to having back issues or pelvic issues as well.
It's very common to like moms holding baby, right? And like the hip kind of goes out
Mhm.
and they're like, man, my back, or the way they're, so because sometimes when you're rocking your baby to sleep or your baby just wants to cuddle you and you want, have you hold them, your back can definitely take a hit. So it makes sense that you have to focus on the core, your foundations, and kind of work out from there to be able to do just activities of daily living before we start exercising. I love that. So, what are some postpartum exercises that a mom can start with after having a baby? After we recover, we wait the 6 weeks. What are some exercise that we can start with?
I like to keep things really simple for postpartum moms because of the overwhelm factor. So I like to teach postpartum moms the 3 C's to make it super simple for them to restore their core strength, to get back to exercise again. So the first C is cardio. We haven't talked about cardio yet, and that is an area that everyone is sort of excited to do again. They just want to get moving again, and they don't want to have to think about it. So cardio is simple. It doesn't take any thought, and you can just put in your earbuds and listen to something while you're walking. So I'm not talking about going for a run. I'm talking about simple, and that is walking and just walking to get your cardio. And this is something you can do early on and you can ramp it up. So I teach moms to start with a walk in their house, doing some kind of laps, whether it's in a circle, if your house has some kind of circular lap you can do, or up and down laps in a hallway, doing some laps and setting a timer for 5 minutes. So you can wear your baby, you can hold your baby, but this is something that you can do that doesn't take any equipment, but it's just good to start moving and doesn't take a lot of thought. And then every day from there, you want to increase by 1 minute. So you are just every day increasing your walking by 1 minute. If the weather's nice and you have a nice neighborhood and you want to walk outside, I encourage moms to walk to a specific mailbox and just say, go to this mailbox for the first walk. The next day, you're going to try to go to the next mailbox. And every day, you're going to keep increasing how many mailboxes you go to. Push your baby in the stroller, again, wear your baby, but any kind of cardio, working around walking and progressing is the key thing to get started. So I never want to encourage a mom to say, oh, we're just going to do 10 minutes of cardio every day for a year. That's not going to cut it. We need to progress every day. And that's going to build that lifestyle change of wanting to work out consistently when you are adding a little bit every day. The third C is actually not exercise, but it is compression. And I love to incorporate compression with my cardio and the next C that's coming up. But compression is wearing a postpartum belly wrap. So I love teaching new moms to incorporate wearing a postpartum belly wrap while they're walking, while they're doing their daily activities, and it really helps to align those muscles back into place, that especially if you have discs recti or a C-section, compression is key. Now, I didn't have either, and I wore belly wraps with my postpartum recoveries, and it really brought the uterus back into place, and it helped build my confidence, and it helped me want to do more exercise because it was sort of like that quick fix, but again, it's not a quick fix, but you just see the stomach coming in a lot faster. So I'm a big advocate for postpartum belly wraps. I love Belly Bandit. That's one of my favorite brands. And let's move on to the third C. So the third C is core, which we already know I love the core. So to keep things simple for the postpartum mom, instead of doing arm exercises, leg exercises, back exercises, let's just think about the core as one unit and we're just doing core exercises. You will feel like the workout is so much easier when you're only focusing on one thing and you're only doing it for maybe 2 minutes at a time, instead of thinking, oh, I have to do this whole 30-minute workout and do my whole body. You'll get burnt out and you'll end up quitting and not returning back to the workout if you start too fast early on. So this is, again, for someone who's just getting started. I would love for you to just do 2 minutes of core exercises. And I have a lot of resources to get you started on that. But the core will help you feel like you're making progress, that you're working on the target area that you are probably the least happy with as a postpartum mom. And you'll just feel like this is so easy that I'm going to want to come back tomorrow and do the same thing again. So that's my advice for getting started.
I love that advice. It's simple. We need simple. So the three C's, the first one is cardio. I totally agree with that. I did a lot of walking with my little girl. I think I waited like I don't even remember how many weeks, but it was like a just, in the house, little walks, and then eventually, like you said, getting outside because I had my baby girl at the end of August and I'm in New Mexico, so it was hot at that time. And so it was really nice to be able to get some fresh air and see something different other than just the house all day. I love that. And I think progressing 1 minute every day, it's realistic, but then it helps you over the weeks and the months to be able to progress to other things from there. I love that. And then the second one, compression. Number three is core.
Hey, Mama, I hope you are enjoying this conversation that I'm having with Jena. And I just want to let you know real quick that if you are nodding along to this episode and thinking, yes, I need a better plan for healing, for my energy, my strength, I want to personally invite you to my free workshop, From Exhausted to Energized, and it is happening on August 1st. I'm going to be sharing the exact strategies I teach inside my signature postpartum wellness program, and this is the best way to get a feel for what it is all about. Enrollment for the program officially opens in August, but everyone who joins the workshop will get early access to enroll and exclusive bonuses. Plus, you're going to be walking away with so many things that you'll be able to work on right after that workshop. So if you were even thinking about joining, don't wait. Save your spot now at wellnessbyval.com/workshop. I can't wait to see you there. Now, back to the show.
What are some of the main reasons, we kind of touched on this, that moms are struggling so much to lose the postpartum pooch or the mommy tummy, even if it's, let's say, 6 months, 12 months plus postpartum? Why are we struggling with this so much?
Yeah, there's a variety of reasons. The one that we already talked about is just making fitness a priority. So that's actually the number one reason that moms just aren't making fitness a priority. They're prioritizing their baby instead of themselves. But besides that, I think there's a big struggle between breastfeeding and nutrition balance, which that's your area. That's something that you talk about a lot, is how do you balance the adequate nutrition while you're breastfeeding and not overeat or undereat and lose weight. So that all ties in to the postpartum pooch, and that's a hard thing to navigate. And along with that is the hormonal changes that you're going through. So it's just there's so many variables that make it not a clean cut answer for everyone. It's like, this is how you lose the postpartum pooch. There's so many things going on in our body that are changing and we're adapting to it. But another one that a lot of moms miss is diastasis recti, the gap in our stomachs. Some moms have it and they don't know they have it, and it looks like a pooch. But so there's a gap between your right and your left side of your abdominal muscles, and it appears to be a pooch, but that gap can shrink and get back together with physical therapy exercises. I teach that in my program as well. So there's a variety of reasons, but it all comes from the weakness in our muscles. When our muscles are weak, things sag. Our organs are pushing and sagging, and gravity's pulling. So, but this is all fixable. That's the good thing. It's all fixable.
I think that's important to let moms understand, is whether you're 6 weeks, a year, 5 years, like your client postpartum, whether it's your first babe or your third babe, it's never too late to start with your movement and your fitness journey, and that you can still heal the core and get into a good routine. Something that I often hear, which I personally don't agree with, so I'm interested to hear what you think when it comes to diastasis rectus abdominis, DRA, for those of you listening. So we have that separation, right? I often hear people say, oh, the doctor said I can get surgery. So after I'm done having babies, I can just get the surgery and I'll be good. So I don't have to focus on these movements and these strengthening exercises. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm a big advocate for trying, at least attempting physical therapy first. And that's with a lot of medical things. If anybody is telling you to get surgery, and let's say it's back pain or anything, I always recommend doing physical therapy exercises first to at least try it. It can work. It can get your gap fully back together. The reason why doctors recommend surgery is that's like a last resort option. So I would never advise somebody to do that first. always try, and physical therapy can just take a few months, and you're not going to have a scar, and you're not going to have the recovery, the pain, because even after you have surgery, you still have to recover from the surgery. So you might as well try the recovery process first and see if it works before getting the surgery.
I think that's a great idea because yeah, that's a lot. That there's any type of surgery, right? There's a risk with it. So that makes sense. And especially if you can heal that DRA and be able to add in different exercises and walking and the compression, all of these things, slowly and progressively over time after having your baby. And that can not only heal the separation, but help you become stronger and help with back pain and all of these other, help with confidence. That's the way to go, in my opinion. Now, for moms who had a C-section, something that I've heard is the scar shelf or the C-section shelf. So
C-section
how,
shelf, yeah.
yeah, so that's just because the scar and the adhesion and then like the belly kind of going over that. What are some
hmm
things that you help with your clients to be able to help with the C-section shelf?
Yeah, so I really work on the deep inner core muscles, the transverse abdominis muscle, and that's a big part of my program is learning how to activate that muscle, which is a really weak muscle for all moms, but targeting that muscle is very hard to do after you've been cut open from your C-section. So we have to retrain the muscle to activate again. So we work with a lot of those deep inner core muscles, the transverse abdominis muscle, to bring that belly back in. It's a great way to fix your stomach after having a C-section.
Activating the transverse abdominis is hard. I remember
Yeah.
when I was pregnant and even postpartum and before I was pregnant, I went to my PT, my pelvic floor PT, and she's like, "Okay, activate your transverse abdominis." And I'm like, "Okay, I could totally do this." And I tried and she's like, "No, you're activating your obliques." I'm like, "Dang it." And I'm a
Yeah.
super competitive person, so I'm like, "Okay, I got to get this down." But after, bringing it's a lot of that mind body connection, bringing your brain, which is kind of funny to think about, but really getting involved of thinking about what you're doing to activate the transverse abdominis. And it is amazing how much that helped me postpartum and to be able to recover.
I have a free class if anybody wants to check it out. It's to teach you how to activate the transverse abdominis and do the exercises. It's at livecorestrong.com/class. And it's a whole training on how to start with postpartum exercise, including this exercise.
That's awesome. Thanks. I'll add that link too to the show notes because I think moms will definitely benefit from that. So we've had our baby, we've gotten cleared with whether it's with our doctor and or our PT 6 weeks postpartum. We're doing some exercises. We're doing the 3 C's, which I think are amazing. And then maybe we go back to work. For some moms, unfortunately, it can be a lot sooner, right? Depending on what's going on. Other moms may have, the 3 months, the 12 weeks, maybe it's a little bit longer. But once we start going back to work and managing other schedules, how do moms fit an exercise into their busy schedules?
Yeah, I like to ask moms, what do they prefer first, morning or evening workouts? Because those are really our two best options. Some moms are willing to work out at work during lunch. So we have to figure out what is your preferred time. And if you're not really sure, I really recommend the mornings. I really do. Just get it done, get it over with, and just find a time that in your morning routine that is the easiest. But I love to habit stack. And so if there's something that you are always doing, and a lot of moms are saying, like, I always turn on the coffee pot. Well, maybe you can habit stack your 2 minute or 5 minute or 10 minute workout right after you turn on the coffee pot. Or maybe you're breastfeeding your baby first thing and you can squeeze in a 10-minute workout after you breastfeed your baby first thing in the morning. So let's find a way to habit stack in the time that you're home. So yes, that might mean that you're waking up 10 minutes earlier, but finding time to make fitness a priority is key.
It's the priority, making it a priority. Like for me, sleep is my number one. Like, of course, our family, our babes, they're our priority, of course. But when it comes to us to be able to be good moms and to perform and to heal and do all of the things that we're doing every single day, mentally and physically. Like sleep is my number one because if I'm not sleeping good, right, which obviously depends on how old your baby is and if you're feeding them in the middle of the night and all of that, but if I'm not sleeping good, then I'm probably not going to want to work out the next day, or my nutrition's probably going to be off more than likely, and I'm going to be irritable or whatever the case is. I love working out in the morning, even if it's just 10 minutes. I think that's super realistic because if we're thinking, and I love the habits because I just finished this Start Strong challenge for the beginning of the 2025, and all about habits and habit stacking and implementation intentions. And I think it's super powerful. And if we can just stay consistent with 5-10 minutes, 3 days, every day, then that's what's going to lead to big results, being able to recover, and especially like 12 months postpartum. So I love that. Making fitness a priority, making yourself a priority. Most new moms and even seasoned moms struggle with getting back into fitness after having their baby. And this is kind of like my last question before I'll have you tell people where they can find you. But what advice can you give all moms, just one simple thing, getting back into fitness?
I would suggest that you find a partner that will keep you accountable and encourage you. I felt so alone in my postpartum journey as a new mom, especially with my first baby, that I just felt like I was doing this all by myself. And no one was asking me, hey, what exercises did you do today? And how much time did you work out this week? And having one person, whether they're just in a text or you see someone once a week in person, having one person can make all the difference for you to show up and do the workouts. So if you tell yourself you're going to be working out 3 days this week, tell this accountability person that you're going to do it and have that person check in on you once a week. You will see a dramatic improvement in your consistency and your showing up rate that you're going to do your workouts. And then it's just fun. It's just a mood booster, just talking to a friend, talking to somebody, join a Facebook group, and just maybe ask that accountability person to listen to this podcast, consistently and stay motivated along your journeys together. So find someone that's in the same stage as you, but maybe even someone who's a little bit ahead of you that can really push you and get you out of your comfort zone a little bit.
I think that is perfect advice. Find an accountability partner, whether it's via text, whether it's someone that you're meeting up with in person, and do things together. Make it fun. We have to incorporate fun into our lives, especially when it comes to our health, our wellness, and our fitness. So I love that. So before we get off and we finish this amazing interview, where can everyone find you, Jena?
Well, I'd love for you to check out my podcast, The Fit Postpartum Mom. And I have a lot of resources around postpartum fitness, postpartum belly wraps, and habits for postpartum moms on my blog, livecorestrong.com. And if you want to join my 30-day postpartum ab challenge, you can go to livecorestrong.com/challenge. And I also have a lot of other free resources at livecorestrong.com/join. So lots of resources for you to continue to live that fit lifestyle as a postpartum mom and make fitness really easy for your life.
Awesome. I love that. Let's become mom strong. Thank you so much, Jena, for coming onto the show today. I know this is going to be really, really great and helpful information for the moms. I totally appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation that I had today with Dr. Jena Bradley. She shared so many valuable tips for postpartum fitness and core recovery, and everything we talked about, everything that she mentioned, including her podcast and how to connect with her, is linked in the show notes. So be sure to check that out. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week for another episode. Stay strong and nourished. Mama, I know firsthand how easy it is to put yourself last after having a baby. I thought if I just pushed through and did more workouts, more discipline, more hustle, that I would start to feel like myself again. But the truth is, what I really needed was support. I needed nourishment, and I needed a plan that actually worked with my body and not against it. That's exactly what I'm going to show you inside my free workshop, From Exhausted to Energized, and it is happening on August 1st. You'll learn the real reasons you feel depleted, and you're going to be walking away with practical strategies to start rebuilding your energy, your core, and your confidence. And because I know how powerful this is, I am giving those who sign up for the workshop early access to my 8-week postpartum wellness program, plus exclusive bonuses. My program is going to be opening up for enrollment in August. It is the Strong, Nourish, and Energized Mom Method. It's a holistic program that not only encompasses core and pelvic floor work, so what you need to heal physically after having a baby, but we're also going to be talking about habits, energy, and nutrition. Head to wellnessbyval.com/workshop to save your spot. I can't wait to see you there. Hey mama, I hope you loved today's episode. If it resonated with you, would you please take 30 seconds to share it with another mom, a mom who's looking to make healthy eating and exercise easier, because we need that. And if you haven't yet, I would be so grateful if you could leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It truly means the world to me and helps the show reach more amazing moms like you. All right, time to chase my toddler around. Stay strong and nourished, and I will be back on Monday with another episode. Talk soon.